I think the world is moving towards materials which do not harm Mother Earth. Red clay bricks are all finally you are taking out the clay from the earth, and they are environmentally unnecessary in today's circumstances. There is a distinct movement in a very, very big way of replacing red clay bricks with more environmentally sustainable material. AAC is the biggest beneficiary of this change.
You have 100 acres of land, out of which I believe 50 acres of land is still free. So how would you use that 50 acres of land going forward? Can the consumers/investors see you introduce more product in the coming year?
The market is very robust, growth-oriented. The energy and inflation crisis in Europe and America is forcing them to source more and more from companies like Stars and Flakes. ISO, although no supplies are being, as for their rocket propellants, some aluminium powders they will start buying in a small way. It's a very big demand, and as we know, ISO is growing.
75% of aluminium ever produced in the world is still in use.
Hi everyone, today we are at MMP Industries Limited in Nagpur. The company is primarily into three products: aluminium powders, foils, conductors and cables. While many of us might think aluminium as just another metal, but its specifications like lightweight, corrosion free, easy to fabricate make it a go-to metal for growing industries like infrastructure, construction, mining and EV. We have with us Mr. Arun Bhandari, Managing Director and Chairman at MMP Industries Limited, to discuss ins and outs of aluminium industry and how is MMP Industries as a company contributing to India's growth story.
Thank you. It's a pleasure to be on an interview with you.
Thank you for joining us today, sir. Before diving deep into the business of the company, let's talk about you. From what I have read, you have done your BTech from Banaras Hindu University, and then you found MMP Industries in 1983, co-founded Star Circlips, and got the company listed in 2018. So how has the journey been for you?
Yeah, you're right that I'm a chemical engineer from what was called the Institute of Technology, Banaras Hindu University.
Okay.
I graduated in 1977. In fact, I had worked with Shriram Chemical Industries in Kota for a year, and I then joined Dunlop India in Calcutta in the technical services department of their industrial products division. At that time, which was I think 1978 when I joined Dunlop's, we thought as a family that I should have that instinct of going off on my own. And there came an opportunity when my father-in-law, Mr. Lodha, is no more, unfortunately. He suggested that I venture into some industrial undertaking and manufacturing. And so in 1981, I shifted from Kolkata to Nagpur. We bought a piece of land 65 kilometers away from Nagpur. It was a private land. And that's the beginning of what was then Maharashtra Metal Powders Private Limited. Subsequently, we've changed the name to MMP Industries Limited when we added the verticals of conductors, cables and foils. So the journey has been, as for any entrepreneur who started in the early 80s, very tough because India of now and India of the old, there's a sea change. We had very few facilities like a fax or a constant telephone line, but all these things are okay. It was part of the struggle. We entered into a collaboration with a Belgian company, AVL Metal Powders, and that collaboration still lasts. It's a very strong cooperation between the two companies. They were instrumental in giving us some know-how, and we started our aluminium powder production with a capacity of 300 tons per year in 1983.
Yes. Sir, in 1983, as you said, you collaborated with AVL Metal Powders Limited. So how has that technical collaboration worked for you, and how did they help you out in aluminium powders?
Well, they are now almost a 90-year-old company.
Okay.
And we've been associated since 1981 with them. It's a small family-based company, so we got along very well. And they gave us the technical know-how and the process know-how for making certain grades of aluminium powders in the mid-80s.
Okay.
Subsequently, that collaboration was strengthened sometime in the middle of 2005, 2006, when they said that they would want us to produce some special aluminium powders for them in India, and they would purchase it for distribution in Europe. Once that collaboration strengthened, we have gone from step to step, become even more stronger in our interaction. We get all the process know-how for them for any grades. We get all the designs and drawings for any specialized equipment that we require. And it's a two-way thing. They are benefited by Indian manufacturing costs, and we are benefited because we get an open market in Europe through them.
Okay.
And the family relations that we have I think it's a marriage of all time.
Okay. So you tap the export market with this company only?
For aluminium powders, yes,
And are
in
you-
Europe.
Okay.
But if we need to supply aluminium powders or any other special products in anywhere else in the world, we are free to do that.
Are they still your distributor?
They are. Like I said, we actually have entered into a new contract with them just a couple of months back, when the purchases that they'll do from us will increase manifold.
Okay. So, starting with the products, aluminium powder is your oldest and the flagship product, I believe. Can you explain the entire value chain? From what I understand, you source the raw material, let's say aluminium, then you crush it, mix it with certain chemicals, and then end user industries are like explosive, mining, infra. So how does the production line work? Like different chemicals, sourcing, can you please explain it to the users?
Yeah. So in brief, aluminium powder is made from aluminium metal, which are usually electrolytic grade aluminium ingots. They are usually 99.7% purity. These ingots are molten in furnaces. They are passed through specialized nozzles and impinged with compressed air to get granules of atomized powders. These are of various fractions of sizes, and we adjust our process to get the right fraction that we want. So this atomized powder finds its own market in explosives, thermite welding of railway tracks, refractories, etc.
All these industries use different chemical composition, or is the powder same for all the industries?
No, there is specific difference in purity of powders, in the particle size analysis of powders. Some of the chemicals are common, some could be different. But more important, this atomized powder serves as the main feed material for what we make in our ball mills, which is aluminium flakes and pyrotechnic aluminium powders for the explosives industries, for the pesticides industries, for the AAC block making industries, and a variety of other industrial applications.
So, okay, sorry to interrupt. What is the difference between Pyro and Flake? I believe you are doing CAPEX in these two powders as well. Can you explain the difference?
Actually, we term Pyro and Flakes as the same powder, except that the shapes are a little different. For Pyro, it's not a complete flat flake, and Pyro powders are usually used in pyrotechnics and fireworks. Flakes are used in explosives. Coarse flakes are used in pesticides. The process is the same. The chemicals are all different. It's a inert gas ball milling continuous operation. This is a hazardous product to handle. We have to take good security measures, and handling of powders is also very, very difficult. But we have mastered these over a period of the last 40 years, and we consider ourselves a very, very safe and secure operation.
So, which industry do you supply the most to?
Our biggest application so far has been explosives. These are aluminized slurry explosives. These manufacturers are all over the country. They make mining explosives. Our second largest market is the AAC market, which is the aerated autoclaved concrete block making. where this powder is used as an aeration agent. I believe that over a period of next 2 years, the AAC market would be a bigger market than explosives. Explosives is also growing very nicely, but could be that AAC would overtake that.
So, yes, I read about AAC. AAC blocks are used in construction and infra industry, right? So, are you seeing any demand from the retail households of India? I believe Indian household mindset is still very traditional. They prefer red bricks over AAC blocks. First question, can you explain the difference between red bricks, fly ash bricks and AAC blocks, and where do you see the growth actually?
Yeah, I think the world is moving towards materials which do not harm Mother Earth.
Okay.
Red clay bricks are all, finally you are taking out the clay from the earth, and they are environmentally unnecessary in today's circumstances. There is a distinct movement in a very, very big way of replacing red clay bricks with more environmentally sustainable materials. AAC is the biggest beneficiary of this changeover. AAC consists largely of fly ash, cement, gypsum, lime, water, and the aeration agent of aluminium powder.
Are fly ash bricks and AAC blocks same?
No, they are not. Fly ash bricks are replacing red clay bricks, but they are as heavy. The big advantage of AAC blocks is that for the same volume of a red brick, their weight is maybe 1/3 or maybe even half of it or 1/3 of it. The compressive strength remains the same. It can also serve as a very good insulating material. So its advantages are many. Skyscrapers will use AAC blocks because the dead load of the building reduces.
Sir, are these AAC blocks used as much as in India as they are in foreign countries?
India was a very late entrant into AAC blocks. I think we've been making AAC blocks in a very big way only in the last 10, 15 years. But Europe, Middle East, I think this technology had come maybe 20, 30, 40 years back. Poland was probably the inventor of AAC blocks.
Sir, apart from the recyclability and environmentally safe, what is the price difference between red bricks, fly ash bricks and AAC blocks, and what are the margins for you in this segment?
I would say that I cannot throw light on what the fly ash bricks are costing, but there's a parity now between red clay bricks and AAC blocks. See, indirect savings are that plastering cost is reduced, the building time for laying blocks is much less than for red bricks. So if you look at the operational cost of bricks and the lifetime cost, as well as the basic cost, I think AAC blocks now are possibly on par with red clay bricks. Fly ash bricks, I have actually no idea what the cost is right now.
So how does the entire supply chain work here? For example, let's say government has to build a building. Government will give the tender to an infra company. Infra company will source their raw materials like cement, steel, etc. from one company, let's say Ultratech. Will you supply the powder that is required for these AAC blocks to Ultratech?
No, not really. AAC block making companies are there. They are specific standalone companies. And I would presume that today they'll be probably small, big, medium. There might be around 400, 500 of these, all spread all over the country. Each is supplying to cities, urban centers. Each has got its niche market. We supply to these AAC block making companies. In AAC block, Ultratech may probably be a supplier of cement.
Does Ultratech produce their own aluminium powder?
They do. They have Ultratech has an AAC block making company.
So why are they sourcing the raw material from you when they can have their own?
No, for us, Ultratech, if it's an AAC block consumer, we will supply our powder to them.
Okay, got it. So moving on to your next segment, that is aluminium foil. So I believe there are different type of industries you cater to. One being flexible aluminium foil like sachets, sachets. Second is pharma, the tablet strip, and third is the foil that is used in Indian households. So what are the difference in production of all these products?
So aluminium foil largely has two sections. One is the rolling of what is called foil stock, which we buy from Hindalco, into 20, 30, 40 and 25 micron bare foil. This bare foil we can supply to people who are doing further processing of the foil. Now, the further processing of the foil is a conversion of the foil. You coat the foil, you laminate the foil, you print the foil. So we've got both bare foil making as well as the conversion section. We think that ours is one of the best integrated aluminum foil companies in India, and our focus has been the pharma industry.
Okay.
And of course, we do supply bare foil to other people who use it for household applications and for containers.
Okay. Sir, aluminium foil that is used in Indian households, there is a misconception, I don't know if it's a misconception, that if you consume food packed or heated food packed in aluminium foil, it's very dangerous to health. Is it true?
Well, I would not be able to say whether it is true or not. But what we do tell people is that aluminium foil should always be used when the temperature of the food is not too high.
Okay.
But as you know, all packages are of aluminium. They are printed. But they've got chips, they've got some bhujia in it. So these are, and also there's inert gas in those packages. Household foils are very widely used. And they actually are calling it kitchen foil.
Yes.
So it's an individual choice whether Anchal would like to use aluminium foil for packing her food, or some housewives do not want that.
Okay.
But by and large, absolutely no health problems.
Okay. Sir, the strips, aluminium strips that are used to pack tablets, so I believe you are supplying to Sun Pharma as well as Aurobindo Pharma, right? So how does the order book work here? Like, do they give you orders? Like, how much time do you take how much time do you take to manufacture the entire thing? How does the equation set in?
Yeah, normally they will release orders throughout the month.
Okay.
There are many SKUs involved. Some could be printed, some could be two colors, some could be just bare, some could be just coated.
Okay.
So we get orders continuously from these pharma companies, and we are expected to deliver within 8 to 10 days, wherever it is in India. So freight component and the delays in freight that we have to account for when we quote the delivery schedule to these
So there must
customers.
be many companies producing these aluminium foil strips. So how do they, like, is there a tender system that sets in?
No, not really. They just send us monthly inquiries. People will
Too many
quote for it.
companies.
And too many companies. Foil is more or less a, right now a huge buyer's market. The prices are depressed. Too many imports from China have kept the Indian prices even lower. Competition is also quite strong.
So it's a perfect competition market, is it?
Pardon?
Is it a perfect competition market? Like, what makes you different than other industries? For example, Aurobindo has to source foil strips from foil
Yeah,
companies, and there
it's-
are 500 companies.
Right.
Yes. How
So-
do they select you?
Like, see, our advantages are that we are of the very high-end GMP systems. That's the good manufacturing practices. Audits by the pharma companies have cleared us in letter and spirit as one of the best in the country. That is our selling point. The other selling point is that we are integrated. We offer all the foils, whether it's bare, it's laminated, coated, printed,
End to end.
under one house.
Okay.
The other advantage is that we are a highly sustainable organization. 20% of our energy is generated by our own internal solar. We have zero discharge facility in the manufacturing facility, so that our emissions are zero, literally zero. So all these things play a part in a pharmaceutical company selecting a long-term vendor. It's a struggle in the initial stages, but in a few months they realize the majority of the buying should be from a company which is cost effective, which is reasonably priced, and which is having sustainable operations.
So you have been supplying to these companies, let's say Aurobindo or Sun Pharma, since how many years?
Sun Pharma, maybe 4 or 5 months.
Okay. So it's a new.
Yeah, I think our foil plant itself is 2.5 years old only. So the audits are very severe. it takes a gestation period for getting into a registered vendor relationship with most pharma companies. It's a long process. It happens gradually. And like Aurobindo, we've been there for more than a year now. Ajanta, Alchem, Torrent, Intas, all these are the other pharma companies which we cater to.
So see, aluminium foil in the end is very commodity type of business, right? So, for example, we recently interviewed a chemical company which is also a very commodity business. They are doing value addition by introducing something in their production line which is making them very efficient. So, is the printing part on the foil that value addition for you?
Well, certainly the printing is the most value-added foil that we sell, but we also specialize in making what is called NC-free printed foil, which is the most required form of printed foil in Europe and America. So that's also a very good value addition. So this is a more of a environmentally sustainable material, printing material. It's expensive, so we specialize in that. The other thing is we are looking at the preference of customers developing MMP as a very long-term partner, surely on the basis of our quality assurance. Our systems, our processes, our data presentation to customers, our costing systems are very transparent. It is so for the entire company, for all the other verticals also. That helps build a lot of trust and a long-term relationship. It's slow, it's challenging, but it happens. And we're pretty certain that in the coming years, foil would also be a good value addition to our overall
Right now,
functioning.
it's contributing how much margins to your business?
Foil is right now, it's an EBITDA negative business. I think this current year, which has just started, we hope to be EBITDA positive in this
So,
year.
let's take an example. Let's say there is this company who wants aluminium foil from you. One wants a plain foil, but one has specifications like everything from foil to the printed part. Which one would you prefer in terms of margins?
Certainly the printed one.
Printed
Certainly.
one has better margins.
Yeah, surely.
Okay. So moving on to your third segment, that is aluminium cables. This has been introduced in 2021. So cables are used in mostly power and transmission sector. So are you looking to tie up with government companies like Power Grid Corporation, or are you going to play the private part?
Yeah, so cables and conductors, actually the conductor part started in 2011 or 2012. Cables we added maybe in 2020 or 21. That's a more value-added product. And the transmission and power sector is moving towards replacing overhead conductors with underground cables. So that's going to be the more growth-oriented business in the future. Also, it is the margins are better. We always stay with the private sector contractors so far. Reason being that we need that our payments are secure and timely, and we have good relations with our private sector contractors to ensure that our business stays on even keel, grows, and the cash flow as well as the margins are maintained. So
Seeing
that's
the
it.
push that government is giving to power sector and the rural consumption is growing in power sector, would you be open to taking government orders for transmission lines?
It's like this. We will certainly be doing some work with the Power Grid Corporation of India in the coming months.
Okay.
We are increasing our overall cable making capacity. I think in the next 1 month we will have additional capacity already on stream. We will be working with Power Grid.
Okay. Sir, you are doing forward integration in aerial bunched cables. Can you explain what these aerial bunched cables are and what do you exactly mean by forward integration?
No, conductors being converted to cables is, let's say, forward integration.
Okay.
And a bunch of cables bound together with certain engineering processes is called aerial bunched cables.
Oh, so you were doing conductors
Yes.
earlier and now you have introduced cables. So transformation from conductors to cables is what forward integration means here.
That's right. And conductors is also a part of our business. It's not that it's gone away.
Okay.
Yeah.
So, sir, if I look at your timeline of introducing new products, you started with powders in 1983, started with foils in 2011, and then finally cables in 2021. So roughly it has taken you more than 10 plus years to introduce a new product. How are the opportunities recognized?
Well, the strategy and the planning always was that MMP would remain aluminium processing industry. Aluminium powder has a good growth potential of 8 to 10%, sometimes in some years could be 15%, and we are market leaders in all the sectors that we are in. In addition, we wanted to have some more verticals related to aluminium, so that when we buy aluminium from one of these big consumers, we do get purchase discounts also for higher quantities. So whether it's wire rod or whether it's aluminum ingot. So that is one factor which made us stay into aluminium only. It's always good to have 3 or 4 verticals functioning in a company, each vertical having a variety of applications, so we can hedge our bets when the times are down in one particular sector. That was the rationale behind having 3 verticals in aluminium. And as and when we get an opportunity, we'll probably go for more aluminium-based products also. In the meanwhile, to shore up our conductor and cable division, the customers being same, we may think of diversifying into making electrical insulators in the coming 2 years.
Okay, sir, you have 100 acres of land, out of which I believe 50 acres of land is still free. So, how do you use that 50 acres of land going forward? Can the consumers / investors see you introduce more product in the coming year?
Yeah, I think it all belongs to the company. Okay. So I think we have almost 25, maybe 40 acres still free from any encumbrances or any buildings. There's a site which is south of Nagpur, which is 24 acres or so. So in all probability in the coming times, yes. So we will be using it for growing the business.
Okay. So,
or maybe buy more industrial land.
Okay. So given, for example, let's say you have 3 products which you have right now: powders, cables, and a foil. Which one requires the least CAPEX if you want to expand into one of your existing business?
Conductors and cables.
Conductors and cables would require the least capital expenditure.
Yeah.
Would the expansion require you to use your existing land or the new land that you have?
Part of the conductor and cable expansion that we have in mind will be in the same premises.
So it does not require an extra land for you to expand into?
No, we have some space there, in some land available where we can do the correct size of building and the right design of building to add expanded capacity to conductors and cables.
Sir, as discussed, the raw material for producing all these aluminium products is obviously aluminium. Where are you sourcing your raw material from? Question 1. If you are sourcing it from China, China is dumping a lot of cheap aluminium in India due to stagnant demand. So if, let's say, government imposes an anti-dumping duty, will you be affected by it?
Well, we have never imported any significant amount of metal from China. Our intention is to buy as we plan our production. Mostly our suppliers are domestic players like Nalco and Hindalco and Vedanta. For foil stock, we have only one supplier in Hindalco. So maybe a couple of years back, we did import some Chinese material which did not work out very well for us. As of now, if the prices stay stable, we work only with Indian metal.
Okay. So how do you handle the fluctuating prices of aluminium?
Not such a big issue. Most customers understand that it's a very volatile situation. We have huge, deep connections with them for the last so many years. So we normally would pass on or reduce our prices on 1:1 basis. Sometimes it may take some 15-20 days to do that, but it always happens. It's not that it's fixed for all time.
Okay. Sir, if I talk about next 10 years for MMP Industries, are we looking to backward integrate? For example, there are so many companies, Hindalco, Nalco, Balco, that are doing end-to-end aluminium production from mining to making the ultimate aluminium product. Why are we not focusing on the mining part of it? Because India has a lot of potential for aluminium products. India has the fourth largest bauxite reserves, but India is not able to tap that opportunity. So, what are your thoughts on it?
No, we are not in the business of end-to-end aluminum. We are going to be aluminum processors. Mining and then making aluminum it's not a billion-dollar business, it's a billion-dollar business, not for us. What we are going to do is to stay with the verticals that we are in, introduce new value-added products in the verticals that we are in, and as far as backward integration is concerned, yeah, I mean, the thought is that we can do recycled aluminum ourselves, sustainable operations. We can do some wire rod making ourselves, which is the raw material for our conductors. All that is on the anvil. When it happens, yeah, it's a little too early to decide. But backward integration, to an extent, yes. End to end, no.
Aluminium in itself is a very interesting industry because I was just reading about India's bauxite reserves and why are those bauxite reserves still untapped. So India is fourth largest country who has 4 billion tons bauxite reserves, and given the aluminium industry that is growing, India's average is still very low. Like India's consumption is 2.5, world's average is 11, whereas China's is 24. And to compete with that world average of 7 to 8, let's say 7 to 8, India will have to mine from 24 million tons per annum to 72 million million ton per annum. So it provides a huge opportunity. But moving to the main discussion, so you also founded Star Circlips. Can you explain what the product is and how is it used in the automotive industry?
Right. So Star Circlips and Engineering Limited, we founded sometime in the mid-80s, that's probably 1985. And it has 3 manufacturing locations in and around Nagpur. This is a specialized industrial fastener, largely used in automotive industries. It is used as a fastening clip in bores as well as shafts. It's made of carbon steel. It has to undergo a lot of operations to create the ductility and the strength. And it is used in a huge way in 2-wheelers, 3-wheelers, tractors, cars, commercial vehicles. The market is vast, but the product is very, very specific and requires huge process control, excellent systems, and very strong documentation to satisfy the auto companies. We are probably the largest in the country in this range of products, and I believe that we are probably maybe the third or the fourth company in the world in size as well as its diversity of the product range.
So you found both the companies, MMP and Star Circlips. So these are in very different industries, from aluminium powders to a component that is used in automotive industry. So how has the transition been for you?
These were parallel things. Actually, in 1983, when we started aluminium powder, I realized very soon it's a hazardous chemical. Something could go wrong. Our capacity could go down to 0 if there's an accident inside the factory. So that gave the family time to think and come up with a product which could, be a parallel product, a little safer in its overall market growth potential, as well as in operations. That's how the idea of Circlips came. We started with an OEM. Largely it was Bajaj Auto who gave us an opportunity. And from then Tata Motors, TVS Motors, and Maruti Suzuki, Ashok Leyland, and a whole lot of the auto industries. They consider us a very reliable, very, very quality assured company. And we probably are the preferred vendor in most of these companies.
So can you please tell where is this Circlip used in the automotive part?
It's used in transmissions, it's used in brakes, it's used in engines, it's used in as a mating part between upholstery and the steel exterior. It's used in clutches. So it's The entire gamut of applications of an auto will have these rings and fasteners as part of their assembly.
Got it. So you are what is the composition between domestic market and export market coming to this subsidiary?
No, Star Circlips, you meaning?
Yes.
So Star Circuits is a standalone operation. It's a separate company, and we are always around 40% exports to Germany, USA, and Japan, and now diversifying to other countries also. The other 60% is to domestic OEMs. We do not have any sale to the aftermarket or what is called the replacement market.
Are the export margins better than domestic margins?
Certainly are.
And you have order from UK's leading automotive company, and you are supplying to, as you said, Europe and USA. So given the recession in the West, have you faced any heat as a company?
Not so at all. I think the market has been very robust, very growth oriented. Margins have been satisfactory, and recently we have got validated for certain parts, very specialized parts for a UK based EV company. So our future growth of Star Circlips will also include a lot of applications for electrical vehicles in India and abroad.
So does MMP Industries, not Star Circlips, have any role to play in EV industry? Because I read somewhere that aluminium's role in EV industry is growing. 85% of the components used in passenger vehicles are aluminium. So are you seeing any growth there?
No, aluminium for the EVs is largely in the batteries. It's a very specialized form of aluminium foil, which we don't do. We don't have the facilities for that. As regards other aluminium usages, a whole lot of automobiles are trying to be lightweight. So instead of steel, they have converted a lot of their components to pressure die castings, which contain aluminium as part of the formulation. So
yes, I read 10 in EVs. 10 times more aluminium is used than a traditional vehicle. So this provides a very good opportunity for the company.
yeah, it depends on what sort of applications you want in an EV. What I do know is that EVs require a very specialized form of, like I told you, aluminium foil for their batteries.
Okay. So can you explain your recent JV with Toil? What is the JV all about, and what will you be doing in this JV?
So we are 26% shareholder in Toyal MMP India Private Limited. They are the first JV they have ever done anywhere in the world. So Toyal is a Japanese company specialized in aluminium paste for the auto industries and for the decorative industries. And they have standalone 100% owned plants in China, Japan, France and USA. The first time they have come with a JV, and we are raw material suppliers to the JV. We are largely silent partners. The growth, the business planning and the overall management is with the Japanese company.
So are we looking to tap the Middle East countries via this JV?
They have this plan. They always have this plan of Southeast Asia and Middle East and South Africa coming into their fold as a part of their product outlets.
So you supply, sorry to interrupt, so you supply the powders, they make the paste, and this paste is used in automotive industry, and they supply to the foreign countries that you have.
That's right. In the auto industry, the paste is used in the form of a paint. So Toyal will supply their product to the paint companies.
Okay. So as we discussed, aluminium is a very lightweight metal, and many defense companies are preferring aluminium made products, and India's, as you can see, government's push towards defense sector, and India's exports have grown tenfold since last 6 years. So in last 6 years, so do you see any opportunity for you here? Are you supplying to any of the
we are actually good suppliers to the ordnance factories in the defense sector for some aluminium powders, especially for the missiles and rockets systems. We have very assured quality systems, and I think we are preferred vendors by the defense for this range of products. Recently, we've got validated by ISRO, although no supplies have begun, as for their rocket propellants, some aluminium powders they will start buying in a small way. It's a very big demand, and as we know, ISRO is growing tremendously with all their projects coming up. We see good potential maybe 2 years down the line for our products in both defense and space.
Okay. So, coming to the recyclability part of aluminium, from what I understand, 75% of aluminium ever produced in the world is still in use. So, I'll give you an example. Let's say an EV battery. We have to, let's say someone scrap that EV battery. You can take parts of that EV battery and make a new battery altogether. So, can we do that with aluminium? Can you use that aluminium scrap to make aluminium powders and repeat that chain all over again?
Aluminium's biggest advantage is it's one of the most recyclable and most preferred recyclable metal through history. When the prices were a little moderate, recycling was not being considered as a very big business by most people. In the last 3 or 4 years, recycling of aluminium is a very big business. And we are actually developing a lot of grades where we can use recycled aluminium. That's in fact a focus area of our company. I believe it's a focus area of many other companies also.
Okay. So, you have been in this industry for more than 40 years. How have you seen the India change from, how will you compare India of today versus India of 1980s?
Yeah, world of difference actually. Communications, liberalization, everything was controlled during the 80s when we started. Getting licenses or getting approvals to set up businesses, so much faster, so much easier now. I presume that people like me will still want more liberalization, more faster approvals. But we have to look at the history of this country. Whatever has happened since 1990s, I think the direction has been very good. And economic growth finally creates employment. That's the key word. And that's actually one of the missions of our group. That is a small size or maybe a moderate size industrial group.
You have been the luckiest generation.
We are actually lucky to have a great set of people. We employ 80 to 90% of the people from local areas. We employ almost 2,500 to 3,000 people in our undertakings. We do automation only when it is so required. But having said that, the struggle and the transition from, let's say, the old India to the present new India has been fascinating. If people have the patience and perseverance, I would say go through that experience and you will be a better person for that.
Okay. So, coming back to the company, how do you manage the inventory? Because aluminium is very hard to handle. If it comes in contact with oxygen, I believe it's very hazardous. So, how do we manage the inventory here of aluminium powders?
So once aluminium is packed and ready to be dispatched, it is already stabilized. The process itself is such that most of the grinding is done in inert gas, and we have also mechanisms to oxidize the powder to the extent that it doesn't become dangerous once it is packed.
Okay. So, as we discussed that India has 4th largest bauxite reserves in India. What do you think from your experience? Why is India not able to tap on this opportunity? Is it the government problem or the players' problem? Why are they not participating in these mining auctions?
See, mining auctions are subject to a lot of environmental controls, and they are also subject to a whole lot of other regulations where mining becomes a very long gestation period. It also requires very, very deep pockets. And simply mining and not adding value and remaining at the lower end of the value chain is not what now Indians want to do. Earlier they were mining iron ore and selling it to China and they were happy. Not so anymore. All value addition, all self-reliance activities, and very rightly so, must belong to the country. This requires not only time, it requires corporates who can think 10 years in advance. It's happening in India in a very big way. We have all these big corporates doing such a lot of fascinating work and creating such a huge amount of employment. For me, that's it. That's how it should
Same is
be.
for lithium reserves. Lithium reserves were found in Jammu and Kashmir, but it takes 13 to 14 plus years to actually mine those reserves.
Absolutely.
Do you have any lessons from your experience for young entrepreneurs like me?
Anyone who wants to struggle and come up a little bit of a hard way, India is the place to be in. I'm all for the young brains of India remaining in India. This is a land of 1 billion plus people, but it's also got 1 million plus opportunities. And young people are going to be the nation builders of tomorrow. Patience, a lot of hard work, a lot of perseverance, and I would say very sincere focus on whatever entrepreneurship you do. It'll always give you very, very good dividends. It'll make you a much more satisfied human being.
So,
And
do you think do you think it is easier to start? Many young entrepreneurs are starting their own business. No one wants to do job daily. They want to start something of their own. Do you think starting today is very easy as compared to the opportunities that you had in 1980s?
yeah, starting a business, whether it's manufacturing or a startup or any services business, far more easier. I think this is a change which is very welcome, was very, very essential, and I think we can still improve on that, but it's a sea change from what was in the 80s.
Okay. So, as we discussed, quality is what makes MMP stand out of the crowd of so many companies that are into this business. So, if I want to start aluminium foil, cable, conductor / powder industry today, are there any high barriers to entry?
I would say in today's India with so many opportunities, barriers have reduced. But then you need to have a proper understanding of the products. Conductors, no barriers at all. Foil, heavy investments for a young entrepreneur. Aluminium powder, you have to manage your risks of the business as well as the product. So you need to have a very good, thorough understanding of the product and the market before you take the first steps. Now, that's not saying that you don't take the first step. Some risk is necessary to be taken. But have generally a good understanding of the product and the market. It's largely our business plan for the next 3 years. I think we will probably leverage a little bit from the institutions, but most of the money that we are going to earn is going to be plowed back into the
Internal accruals.
expansion. And internal accruals would be our major
You're not
idea.
going to raise debt / anything or liquidate your own.
Maybe, if necessary, raise a little bit of debt, but we aren't going to raise enormous amount of debt. No, never.
So debt will always be low for MMP industry.
Yeah, absolutely. That's our planning takes care of the fact that we need not dilute our equity and we need not raise extraordinary debt. At times, yes, a bit more so for working capital, but
With a growth with a conservative approach.
yeah, both with a steady, stable
Yes, right.
approach and doing the best for the customers.
So, last question. You have been in this industry for 40 plus years and you must have come across so many people from like aged to senior citizens to employees like me. Do you see any change in the mindset in these last 40 years? How has the growth mindset changed?
Absolutely sure. The young people whom I meet, they are so diverse, they are so energetic, and they are so much full of ideas. That was not there when we were growing up. We were in a straitjacket, do an engineering, do a chartered accountant course, enter into a job, which is what we did. But today's people have the ability to, I think, really analyze their own potential much earlier in life. And that's a very good thing. That's what is driving this economic growth. You can see it in the startups in Bangalore and Pune. How very bold young people are in raising money. Sometimes they go wrong, but they growth, and they're creating employment, they're creating opportunities, and they're creating services, exports. So this is a big change in India. The confidence and the ability to do it is with the young people of India.
Okay. So it was great interacting with you. I got to learn a lot from you, not only as an interviewer, but as someone who ultimately wants to do something of her own. So thank you for coming on the series, and thank you for taking time out of your busy schedule. It was
Thank you so much. Thank you so much. All the best, and you'll do well wherever you are in life. Absolutely. That's our wish also.
Yes. Thank you, sir.
Thank you so much.